Okay, it is Friday, and that means that you all are ready for another episode of my showcase series. And as you can tell from what I've got right here, or if you can already, then yeah, today I'm going to be showing you how I made the gauntlet kind of arm guards that Jaune has in Volume 4 and 5. And I've gotten a lot of questions about these because I'm gonna go grab my first attempt at making these, which I actually had for MomoCon 2017, and you can see the difference between the two. So let me just grab the first attempt real quick. Let's see, there's one. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so this is what I first tried out, and as you can see, it's much more bulky than what I ended up with. This fits my form a lot better than this, and that's because this is made from EVA foam, and this is just, I believe, 3 or 2 millimeter craft foam. And the reason I ultimately went with the craft foam is because, as you can see, EVA is very thick, and in these shows, the armor really, I'm going to say, it takes the form of the character very well. Like, there's an almost seamless transition from clothing or armor to the skin. So with the bulk of the EVA, you really don't get that effect. And with its size, it was also very hard to get on. Like, you can see, I opened up. This was such a bad idea. So, I can get it mostly through with my hand, but like I just needed that extra push. So after I got that on, I would then tighten the shoelaces and then just stuff it into the armor. And it looks okay, but like I said, it's a little bulkier than I would have liked. So for the second go at it, and if you want to go with this method for some reason, I'll show you how I did it. It's pretty much the same thing I did with the rest of the armor, where I would take a mold of, well, a mold. I wrapped my forearm in saran wrap, then wrapped that in duct tape, cut it off, and then use that as a template to make this. And you want to make it a little thicker because the foam, if you just do it off of that, it'll be a little bit too small. So you want to add about an inch or so off of that to compensate for the thickness of the foam. But yeah, so you just cover your whatever part of your body you want to make the template from, trace a design, cut it out, clean it up a little bit on graph paper, use that as a template, and then transfer it to foam. And you can see where the seam is here very easily. It's not, I'm not too proud of this, but other than that, same same method I use for the rest of the armor. Plasti dip, and then a strip of half density EVA foam, so that's about a 1/4 inch. Just a very long continuous strip around the edge with that black border underneath to give it that dimensionality. But that didn't work, so I'm gonna show you. I don't know why I grabbed a second one. So this is what did work. This is, hang on, is this the left one? Okay, yeah. So this is out of craft foam. And again, as you can see, it's much more, yeah, it's much thinner. It just makes more sense for the armor. So I basically did the same first step where you take that mold of your arm, cut it off, transfer it to paper to clean it up and add any thickness you may need to it. Thickness you may need to it. That's not how grammar works. You add pretty much just any lines or shapes that you need to really clean it up. Like, I don't think I made that little dip in the initial cast. So once you have the basic shape, then you can transfer your designs that you want. And this is a very, very simplistic gauntlet. There's a lot of stuff, like if you were to do an Iron Man one, the process would be vastly different. But with this, you can see right here is a invisible zipper, which I also took the little tab off. So you need to use like a pin or something to get under that. But the benefit of this is that it's pretty hard to see at a distance. So the rule of thumb is the 5-foot rule. So I'm about 5 feet away from my camera, and if you can't see this very well, or like okay. So with the zipper, you always want it to face you. You want it to be on the inside of your arm, because that's what's going to be facing away from people. When you hold a sword, like you go like that, you show the outside of your forearms. And so you don't even see the zipper for most of the photos that you take. And yeah, so this was all made out of craft foam, except for the border, where I stuck with EVA foam, and I did the same thing, cut out a long strip about, I'm going to say, 1/2 inch wide, and then cut that in half, so it was a 1/4 inch thick. That is then super glued to the perimeter of the armor, and that seam is cut. But right here, so this is a part that gets a little tricky, because he's got that kind of weird half sleeve thing, and I didn't want to just like mess up a long sleeve t-shirt. This is actually an athletic sock that I just cut the foot off of. So this is just like the part that goes on your calf, and it's just super glued to the inside of the you can't really see that, but maybe if I fold it this way, yeah, it's just super glued to the inside of the armor. So I didn't have to sew anything on, and since it is super glue and not hot glue, it's resistant to heat, and that's a very strong bond. Like, yeah, that's not coming off. And the benefit of that is when you put it on, well, the benefit of like gluing it to the armor itself is that putting it on, again, you get that seamless, very, very clean look that you always want to go for in cosplay, especially stuff based off of anime and whatever Ruby is. So yeah, again, you get a very clean transition, and then the forearm. So you don't have to zip this all the way up to put it on. You can do it halfway or even 1/4 of the way, and from there, usually I would have someone else helping me with this part, because when you pull on it, it kind of pulls this part down, but that's not the end of the world. So you just put a push pin, or a paper clip would be ideal. Just put that where the tab would have gone, and lift up and slide down. Having a little trouble. I'm just poking through the zipper. Hang on. Okay, you can also put it towards your body if you don't have anyone to help you out. That just kind of keeps the piece of armor in place. So you just press it to your side, push a pin in, and zip down. Yeah, so there we go. You have Jaune's gauntlet, or wait, is a gauntlet the glove? Or is it like the combination of the two? Should have looked that up before starting this video. But anyway, you can see how clean the transition is there between my hand, the armor, the sleeve, and then my arm again. So, and it's very clean. You can still see the silhouette of my arm. You don't get that bulky cylindrical look with the EVA foam, and overall it came out really well. I used white craft foam, so I didn't even have to paint it, and still looks fine. You do get these small creases, like when I get under certain lighting, you can see those creases throughout it. That's just because the craft foam is very thin. You sacrifice a little bit of the illusion of it being armor for it, to have that clean look. But I think it's worth it. So yeah, there we go. And for this, I didn't want to do too much of the splatter technique that you've seen in previous videos. So I got a dry brush, and I put just a little bit of the Barn Red paint on it, and then just like heavily brush it up so that you get those that kind of like faded look. I thought that was a neat aesthetic to have for the gauntlets. So there it is again. Next week, let's see, I think I'll be showing the elbow pads. That'll be pretty short, so maybe like 5 minutes. This is just shy, or just over 10 minutes. So yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. If you have any questions that I can answer, please put them in the comments, and I'll be more than willing to walk you through anything else I may have skipped over. And yeah, join me next week when I'll be showing you the elbow pads. Thank you.